Welcome to Healing Through Dentistry podcast,
where we redefine health, wellness, and the power of your smile.
We're your hosts,
Hana
and Eva, twin sisters, qualified dentists and medical doctors.
This is more than a dental podcast.
It's a journey into profound connection between oral health and whole body healing.
Through personal stories, inspiring client transformations, and expert insights,
we explore how dentistry can ignite energy, relieve chronic pain, and transform lives.
Get ready to discover the extraordinary ways your smile can heal, inside and out.
Let's begin.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Healing Through Dentistry. And this is part 2, live. We are sitting in the car on our way from Unleash Your Power Within with Tony Robbins in Germany, in Cologne.
And we have amazing guy who is driving us home.
So
He just opened the roof. I love it. So what a great business work area.
Yes,
It's a hub.
it's a hub. And what we'd like to share is our insights, our breakthroughs from this event. We couldn't wait, so we shared that in a part 1. If you'd like to listen about a state, a beautiful state, and what it is,
And about suffering state, what it
and
is.
about suffering state, about emotional home as well. It is a quite interesting discussion, right, Eva? But today we wanted to share, or this time we wanted to share, what was our favorite quote unquote exercise, because was it pleasant, Eva?
No, it was
Really?
pleasant and it's connected to your beliefs. So
It's called the Dickens.
method. Yes. So what is it about? So we start about beliefs. So we all have some beliefs.
And values
It's the beliefs which are not
serving us.
serving us and not taking us to next steps. So let's start. What was your limiting belief, Hannah?
Yes, so Tony Robbins, let's just talk about the beliefs first
Mhm.
and say where we're heading. So Tony Robbins started with, describing what the belief is, what the value is, and basically what we believe in, it becomes a reality, no matter what. So if you believe you're going to be poor for the rest of your life, you're going to be poor for the rest of your life because you're very inside. It is based on neuroscience, like research. You're very inside the attitude that you're going to be poor forever. There's actually, by the way, a really good book called Poor Dad, Rich Dad. And this is exactly about this, how beliefs affect you, immensely.
Yeah, you can wire them in unconsciously. So
And what is belief is actually a repeated thought.
yes,
So a repeated thought is a belief. It becomes a belief which may become your personality.
it becomes your personal reality, which is again combining Dr. Joe Dispenza work.
Yeah, and so he makes you realize this first, and then he lets you write down limiting beliefs, because there's always forward beliefs and backward beliefs. Maybe
Away.
that's not the terminology
I think
he
you're
uses.
saying towards and away values.
Okay, so towards and away beliefs, values. And he lets you describe the away values, because we all, or beliefs. So because we all have some kind of a belief, we believe it's true for us, but happens not to be true.
And I
True.
used to say it on example. So it was fascinating because Tony Robbins, he was believing about himself that he was too young and he was too fat, he was not educated. And he was actually saying, on his example, that he was actually missing out, because even if somebody would offer him a job, he would not accept, because he said, I'm too young. What would I do there? I'm too young. And he loved some woman which was older, and again, he wouldn't meet her because his belief was he was too young. So he's
What she would
Tony
say to him.
is trying to point that what are you missing out if you have this belief? So what did you miss because of this belief?
So he was actually describing it on his story, where he was really fat. He didn't have like education, and he was too young, and he was so evolved because he was very, hungry from a little age. So he read a lot of books, and he was very educated that way. But his
He said
belief
he
was
Mr. He knows everything.
Mr. He knows
No,
everything.
he said Mr. Solution.
But that's kind of interesting because his belief is I'm not educated, right?
Yes.
So
He didn't
that's
have Harvard,
that's
that kind
another
of
step.
system thing.
Yeah. And so he was describing on his personal story how many times he was heartbroken because he, like always, this older women, because they were more evolved, educated, they were more on his level, but he was shy to approach them because he thought that he's too young and they would just not like him. So he was heartbroken all the time. And the same with the work,
If
right?
you don't ask, if you don't approach the person, how did you know? How would you know that he's not interested? So these beliefs, they can take you a lot what you can have. And that's very powerful to think about.
So he makes you write down these 3 main limiting beliefs you have. And also he makes you write down, so he gives you a few minutes for each to write down what has it been taking from you, those limiting beliefs. So let's say I am going to say I'm not good enough in such and such. And why do you think what's happened? What's your fear behind it? And I did write down I'm not good enough in such and such and such. And that my scare is I'm not going to be loved, right? And he also lets you write down below it what it has already taken it from you when the belief's there. So I did write down that I'm missing so many opportunities because I'm, afraid that I'm not good enough to do them. I am missing out meeting people. I am missing out to, expand myself in love, to inner connections, because I'm fearful that, it's not going to work. I'm not good enough. So it is powerful. And so he lets you to write down 3 of them. And then he does.
Also, the powerful thing, the second thing is that he makes you to write, to think if you didn't have this limiting belief. So what will you have? What would you achieve? And then you're going into your heart and you think, what would happen if this limiting belief is not there anymore?
No, and it turns out that you're unstoppable, right? Because then you write down, oh, I, start this project. I approach this person. I am going to ask this person for a date. And you've got like million. So then it makes you realize, this exercise makes you realize what a bullshit. And he uses the word bullshit. We loved it because we all scream bullshit, bullshit all the time in this exercise. He makes you, because again, there's a
neuroscience behind it.
Yeah, neuroscience behind it, and neuro-linguistic rewiring. So he loves to combine his work with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And so he's using different, modalities to go into your unconscious. And so when you did write down everything, what he asked us to do, then he asked you to close your eyes. It is an exercise for an hour or so.
Well, all the process was 4 hours.
Yeah, whole process was 4 hours. But this certain bit is for an hour when he lets you to close your eyes, and he basically lets you imagine what will happen if you don't get rid of the limiting belief. And he let you feel it, he let you soak in it, and imagine that there is 13,000 people there. People are sobbing, people are crying, people are screaming, because he lets you soak in it, and he asks you, imagine what it happens if you stay in this emotion for like 5 years. What if you happen to stay in this emotion for like 5, or limiting belief for 10 years? And people are honestly, I was on the ground sobbing, my nose was running. Yeah, people were screaming, crying.
It's powerful. You really, it's very important to get to the emotion so you can erase it and you can break free. So this is part of the game. He let all the kids around till the age of, and he left it on parents, but 10ish, age 10, to leave the room because the room changed. It changed. So, and I think it's very powerful when you think, we all have limiting beliefs and they are taking us tools. They're taking us opportunities. They're taking us love. They're taking us life, basically. So if you imagine, and he was stacking and stacking, so 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and you're in the same situation.
I said, please stop. No,
Yeah.
no more, because it was just so painful.
I almost threw up. I was like, it was just so painful. Everything goes to my stomach when I'm feeling bad. So yeah, it was absolutely
So this
horrific.
was for about, let's say,
Yeah.
40 minutes. But then he switched, because then he said, okay, like he sees that we all were so unhappy in
And
the
you want to
condition
still
we
live
were.
like that? So he asks, and we say no, no.
So everyone absolutely didn't want to live in their limiting
Yeah.
beliefs like this for another, even like a minute. So then he switches the attitude, and he lets you, stand up, and you actually feel physically you're lighter, you're more happier, your head is up, and then it is another hour or two where you like, he lets you scream the positive, the truth.
Yeah, the truth. What is your belief?
And it's usually very the opposite. So if you did write down, I'm not worthy, so you then scream, I am worthy,
I'm a
or
goddess.
I'm outstanding.
I am extraordinary.
Exactly. Or if you're not
So-
good enough, I am amazing, I am outstanding, I am extraordinary, whatever, the word you choose for you and, feels best for you. But it's mostly really the opposite of what you write down. And also he lets your brain know, your unconscious know, because it's a note about the conscious stuff. We work on our unconscious. He lets you scream the word bullshit, and he makes you to do it in a funny way as well. So we all needed to stick
So
our
yes.
finger in the nose and
Both fingers in the nose and say the limiting belief, so it makes
so you see how, or your unconscious
how
see
ridiculous it,
how ridiculous and funny it is that
how nonsense, how it's nonsense. And I have to say, I have a very powerful guy who was sitting next to me, and his limiting belief was rejection. And I chose to sit next to him. I chose to talk to him. So, and he was like, you see, that is bullshit. What rejection? Like, I mean, what is it about, right? And then, he reflects the mirror on you, because my limiting belief was I'm not good enough. And he was like, what do you mean? And you start crying because it's not true, it's a bullshit. And yeah, it's very powerful.
yeah, it's true. He makes you to talk to people around you. And I was talking to this most beautiful gal I just noticed behind me before this exercise, like red dress, beautiful hazel eyes, long hair, beautiful gal, stunning gal. And her limiting belief was that she's actually not good enough, not lovable, and not pretty. And I was like, what? Like,
Yeah, so you cry both because it's a mirror, it's just you're reflecting. Yeah, fascinating.
So this was an amazing exercise. I would, recommend all of you guys to write down your limiting beliefs and just like not the
Rewire them.
like rewire them, but like write down what they are taking away from you right now, these limiting beliefs. And then, what would happen if you don't have them. And it's powerful only just to write down. Then you see, well, actually, it's in my head. It's my head tricking me. I'm just going into the same pattern over and over and over. And if you work on yourself, you can rewire. And that's why I think this work is fascinating and so powerful. And I appreciate people who share this because it heals us. It heals us all on so many levels. So we can be more kind, more generous. We can contribute more. We can,
We can
grow
be
more.
more. We can live more fulfilled lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would add towards this because I went to Date with Destiny, which was a powerful week. And we did this exercise on values. And that's the same thing. And when I came back, it was in December the year before. I was so in awe. I was telling everybody, you guys, you have to do this exercise, do it. And I told Hannah about values. So if you think about the same thing about your values. So if your value is, he says, like, write 8 values on the list. which are the most important values for you. So for me, it was harmony. So first value was harmony. And then he says, okay, and put behind the values, the rules. What does it mean harmony to you, and then other values, what you would write down. And the harmony for me was that everybody is happy, everybody is meeting their needs. But in this exercise, I found out that there's nothing about me. And I was like, what? So powerful, powerful work. So I really recommend to also do this with values. And then, of course, you do the same Dickens process and you are changing the values to different values. The top one for everybody, the value in the room was love. And everything is about love and connection. You stay in that place of love, gratefulness, and connection. So I love that.
Yeah, me too.
What would be your first value, Hana? What do you value the most? Don't say love because that's the end product. That's what we want to achieve. But maybe you're ahead.
I'm probably like a twin, so I've just maybe put harmony as well because I
and what would
don't
be
like
your
conflict.
Why? Yeah, but why? That we want why harmony? So what rules you would put around? So what does it mean harmony for you?
Well, like you said, that everyone is happy.
Yeah.
I am happy as well. Everything's, there's no issues, there are no hiccups.
Yeah, and we know
everyone's in agreement, but we all know that this is perfection and doesn't exist.
know that this is a childish way of looking at things. It doesn't exist.
Shall we talk about inner conflict? So let's keep it for the next one. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to touch on it because I've noticed it. So I was saying harmony because I don't like conflicts. And the inner conflicts, again, it was a powerful teachings from Tony Robbins, where he is talking about that everything is about removing the inner conflicts, because that's the only thing which is just holding you back. And I just wanted to just say, and we were talking with a friend outside the arena who happened to be Czech. And we bumped into him, haven't seen him for 4 years. And I was just sharing this German new medicine, Dr. Hammer approach, who is saying that every single disease is from inner conflict or trauma. So the inner conflicts, meaning the emotions in you, are causing certain diseases. And so it's powerful. I did tell him on a shall I say the example?
Yeah. Say a little bit about his story.
So Dr. Hammer was a German doctor, I think in 80s. He was doing this research on his clients, but what happened to him, why he did the research on the clients, is that he had a tragedy in his family when his only 17-year-old son died suddenly. And obviously he was devastated, and, they were devastated. It's a tragedy. And what happened soon after he died, he developed prostate cancer. And he was thinking, he was a doctor, and he was thinking, why did I develop the prostate cancer? I, eat well, I exercise. But deep down, he knew that this tragedy happened to them in a family, that it affected him and it had a direct impact on him. And so he started to, because he was, I'm not sure if neurologist takes my words, neurologist or so he had
scientist.
So he had a lot of scans, and he had clients where he was doing MRIs and scans of the brain. And he always saw when people came with cancer, he saw the scan and he was asking them about their story, what happened to them, earlier in life. And soon after, he developed a pattern. And so, for example, women who have breast cancer, but on the left side. So it usually is when something happens with their child with the right-handed, like most women are right-handed, and when they hold their child on their chest, they hold it on their left breast, where the heart is. And so when something happens, so he saw that a lot of women who experience a death or a serious illness or issues with their children, they developed left breast cancer. While if there was an issue or tragedy or something serious with their husbands, partners, that was the right breast. And it is incredible because you can look him up, Dr. Hammer, German New Medicine. He doesn't believe in viruses and parasites causing stuff, but he says that it's from inner conflicts and traumas. Every time I'm sick or something happening with me, I always look it up.
Yeah, by the way, Tony
it's
Robbins doesn't believe in viruses and bugs too.
So I just want to
He did
share
some
it.
research.
And I love how everything is just so complex and combined. How, Tony Robbins adds on, Dr. Hammer adds on, Dr. Joe Dispenza adds on, it's
That's
beautiful.
why we share and we love to share. And I think this is part of our mission to share these modalities, these techniques, these extraordinary people who are out there and maybe you haven't heard about that.
And the reason is that it empowers us.
It does, but it empowers them too, Hannah. And I just...
But I mean, the information empowers me, and I see what impact it has in my life and how it improves. So I want to empower others because we deeply believe that, our health is in our hands. So it's my responsibility to care about my level of energy and health, no one else. And so I need to work on it, just like I work on everything else. And so we love sharing this. And, if we find it interesting, look things up, reach out, and let's just all transform and uplift and heal together.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Take care and see you in the next episode.
Thank you for joining us on Healing Through Dentistry podcast.
We hope today's conversation has inspired you to see your smile as the gateway to whole body well-being.
To stay connected, visit us on our website or follow us on social media.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit.
Until next time, remember, healing starts with a smile.
Take care,
and we will see you in the next episode.